Welcome to Adtopsy. If this looks like an after-school special, it's actually not. It's a YouTube show where we look at Facebook ads and we dissect them to figure out what works and what doesn't. Some of the ads scale to the moon, some of them die a horrible death. So why don't you take a look and see if you agree with our findings? You probably won't.
All right, so let's dive right into the first brand, Daily Kairos. I'm going to put both these videos on the screen here. They're both about 30 seconds. They're both 1x1 square. Let's start with this one. We're going to watch it, digest a little bit, and then we're going to go into the second one. And then after that, we're going to vote. Okay, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Ready.
Let's do it.
Ready for a new way to step into the presence of God without the distractions? Introducing the Daily Kairos Journal, a simple yet intentional tool created to help minimize worldly distractions so that you can get right to the heart of God. Find your quiet today.
Was that a little laggy in the beginning? I felt like it was a little bit.
Lagging.
Okay, let me just play the beginning over.
Ready for a new way to step into the presence of God without the distractions?
Okay. Digested it. Let's look at this. Let's look at this other one. Okay, that was laggy too. Let me try again. Okay, now has everyone decided on what their vote is?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd like to see them both played at the same time.
Backward. Battle.
Okay, so hands up for the people that think this first video was the top performer. Ike and Sarah. And then hands up for people who think the second video was the top performer. Barry, Rachel, and Aaron. Very interesting split room. The answer is this first video.
Wow.
Thank you.
Crushed it.
Those quotes are going away today.
You earned it. Earned it.
Good job, Sarah. Good job.
And the reason why I wanted to bring this one on, it's a little bit of a trick question because I found this one in that sort of Triple Whale Slack community, and the guy said it did great, and he showed me both of these, and he said this one didn't really hit. But this one does a lot of things that we have previously said not to do, or have previously. I knew you guys would. I knew some of you would be like, this one clearly doesn't work because we've talked about like being too high concept or whatever. So let's just watch this one again and try and figure out why this one works.
Ready for a new way to step into the presence of God without the distractions? Introducing the Daily Kairos Journal, a simple yet intentional tool created to help minimize worldly distractions so that you can get right to the heart of God. Find your quiet today.
So does anyone have any sort of initial thoughts about this particular video?
I think what it does well is it relates to a real world problem right off the bat, right? People get distracted. There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of notifications going on. So I think it immediately gets the viewer to relate to what's happening and then introduces the solution rather quickly. I think like 5 seconds into it. So I think that's the way they achieve the nativeness of a video that we talk about, even though it is like a high concept, like highly produced piece. Yeah.
Yep. Anyone else?
When do we get the can you just tell me when like the resolution kind of happens? At what second the
Ready for a new
goes
way to
into
step
like
into the
meditative
presence
mode?
of God without the distractions?
5 seconds.
Okay.
I think what this video does way better than this one is it plays to identity because it has the word God in it. If I'm like a religious minded person and I hear the word God, I'm immediately paying attention to whatever this is. This video, it doesn't like it has the word in there, but it doesn't say it. But this product, there's a million types of these productivity journals. I don't know that it's God. I don't know that it's like for prayers or God related or anything like that. So it's not immediately speaking to me. Like, but if you say the word God and I'm religious, I will give you the rest of the 30 seconds to pay attention here.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think it's really interesting when you look at these ads side by side, because from like a neurological standpoint, the first one has a lower cognitive load. Just the
Ready
first
for a new
image
one?
on there doesn't have like a ton of things in it visually. The second one already has like a ton of words in behind a ton of words. And as you
Right.
roll through it, there's like more words and more words and more words. There's so much going on that the cognitive load for the brain to actually dissect it is getting higher and higher as you go through the video,
Right.
which makes it like immediately, as soon as I get to about, where you are now, about 4 or 5 seconds, I'm clicking away because it's just too hard to process more than anything else.
Yep.
This one is fantastic. The first one was really good. And this is why I picked it, because it's so quiet. So they're
Right.
linking to their overall core message through sound and through imagery at the same time. So I was like, this one has got to be it, because it's really well done. Very well done ad.
What's the sound at the beginning of this one?
Yeah. So sound design is key here. Let's listen to it again.
Ready for a new way to step into the presence of God without the distractions?
Yeah, silence. They had a piece of silence there.
Introducing the Daily Kairos.
Yeah, even like the inhale, like if I'm listening to this with sound on and the inhale, I cannot scroll away until that inhale is resolved in
Yes.
my mind. you
I
know?
agree. I'm like, somebody needs to breathe. We need to breathe.
Right. And
Make
it's
sure he
and
takes a
it's-
breath.
and it's resolved in like it's almost like a sound thumbs up versus like a visual one.
Yes. Which is so smart. I think so few people use silence as a thumb stop or as a hook. And I think it's greatly underutilized, because silence is something we don't really hear on the internet very much, because we're constantly being overstimulated. So these guys did it great because they used two different things. Silence, where we wanted him to take a breath, so we'll stay long enough to make sure the guy survives. But we also want to see where he's going, because he closed his eyes. So
Yeah.
what happens after that, right? Like, we want to see what happens after he opens them.
What's the length of the one on the left? This one on the right's 30. They're both okay.
20. Yeah, it's 26 seconds.
Yep.
End card at
I think
24.
it could be long. I think this first one, I would love to see a bit of, what I'd like to see is almost them put together, like starting with the first one and then, because I kind of like the
No reason not to.
seeing what's in the journal and
Yep.
seeing the prompts and like the cards and that kind of thing. That kind of helps sell it into me a little bit more. Like, all right, I'm hooked in with the vibe of the first video, but maybe I need to understand the actual product itself, and that really comes in the second video. It could also be followed up through with retargeting, and maybe that works well for them. But it could be interesting to mush them together.
Yeah.
Agreed.
100%, because that gives the context to all of these different things. Like if I'm going through this, there's like work here, and then there's live, but there's key moments where like gratitude or like prayer. Like I need to see that prayer is in this very quickly, and it's not like mow the lawn or whatever, because there's so many products like this. I have products that look exactly like this, but they're not
Right.
prayer oriented or whatever. So putting these together where it's like this is in the presence of God and this is how you use it would be an excellent combo for sure.
I'm still mortified that I lost, but not really. Can you go back to the beginning of the one on the right?
Of which one?
The one on the right, yeah. Just give me the
Yep.
two. So I'm mad that I fell for this. So I thought the one on the left was too polished. The one on the right I thought was less polished, so I thought there'd be more to it. But looking at the very first frame, there's no problem here.
Yep.
Like this is not these words alone, when the weight of the world is over, this is classic like word garbage. This is bad
Right.
copy that does not belong in the first frame. It doesn't belong in any frame, arguably. But if you could turn this into an I statement or a past tense I statement, like I was feeling overwhelmed, period. You know, like you can do more than that, but I think that would add more, and showing it would be even more important. So instead, what this showed was paper. Like, come on, this is a
Right.
bad hook. So I should have known better. But to me, the I don't know. I don't trust that either of these did that well. And I'd want to like it makes me want to look into. It makes me want to look into the actual ad account performance and see.
Barry,
I
you'll
think there's
have
a
your
lot more
chance
that
of
can be done.
redemption later.
I know. I'm bitter.
Yeah, I-
Loser Barry.
This episode just got
That's a
tense.
really good point. That's a really good point about I don't see a face in here. I don't feel the
Yeah.
overwhelming weight of the world. It's too much journal.
Yep.
I would like to see a different edit with emotion of a person, and maybe even somebody having positive emotions afterwards, after like journaling and feeling calm or whatever. But yeah, right now it's a little bit too much journal.
You can also make this feeling of stress without showing a face. You can like show like overdue, past due bills or like over, like there's like stressful things you can, or like, post-it notes that say, whatever, like, what are you doing? Where have you been? There's stuff that you can make people feel stressed out about, which, sorry to say, I hate that.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
part of my job sometimes, but
On the left-hand side,
Yeah.
the left-hand side, what they do at the very beginning, I think they do that very well. To me, I think I didn't catch it till the second time I watched it. All
I was
of
gonna
these
say that too,
things in
Rachel.
in the sound design. I think
Yeah.
it could be bigger. I think this could be bigger, and it could be more overwhelming. But
Yeah, I thought it was too quick.
in the
and I
business
didn't
of-
think it was super overwhelming.
and
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
classic make ugly ads. I'm wearing my make ugly ads shirt today. I would make ugly ads version of this one on the left. Like instead of animating that, just like show it on screen immediately. Like it doesn't need to be animated in. It could actually do better just being actually on screen, screenshot in less, it'd be more authentic rather than that. But maybe that would do worse. But my point would be whoever's idea was like, let's make this animated and really polished, assuming that does better is a bad assumption in this realm.
Yeah, Rachel, I'll argue that you did catch it on the first. Your subconscious caught it on the first view.
Sure.
And
Okay.
going back and looking at it, and I think that's the whole point. And this ad totally would not have worked if it didn't cut, if everything didn't drop out, and it allowed you to just think a little bit about what you just saw and what you're feeling as well.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
That would be a little
ultimately
small
right
on a
in that.
device. Sorry.
Yeah.
You-
I'm wondering if it worked, how well. I mean, it must work without sound too, because I don't listen to a lot of sound when I'm scrolling through, but I think it kind of still does. Like, obviously, if it's a higher performer, you do see all the Zoom things pop up, and he takes a big inhale. Like, I bet it probably does work without sound.
Yeah, I liked it. I really, really liked it without the sound and with the sound, because at the beginning we couldn't hear most of it. But to Barry's point, like testing some of these elements would be really interesting. If you're a type of person that doesn't watch like anything on Facebook with the sound turned on, the animations are extremely important because they're the only thing that's going to get you to stop. Otherwise, you just see a guy sitting at a desk and you're not entirely sure why he's sitting at a desk, and it's not really all that important to you until you see that tiny little blip. Oddly enough, they've done a ton of studies about the fact that white lights in particular, small white lights, are very attractive to the human eye, sort of like firefly, think like Christmas light. So the fact that they're doing one small animation of something that's white on the screen is going to be very eye-catching, especially if you don't have a sound on. So I think they probably could test this and iterate a ton of different things on it and see if they could help it perform better. But they did a great job with this first round. I thought it was awesome.
There's now 1,000 growth hackers gonna put like fireflies in every ad now.
Flying around everywhere.
I'm going to start a trend.
Just one light.
One light, not like a million. I would love to see that. If we start seeing firefly trends, I'm going to be like, you heard it first. Here.
Jess, on Monday,
Cartoon.
I want to see a chart from fire team of number of lights in white spots in an ad
Yeah,
to conversions. I want to see where
Oh.
the drop off is.
Well,
that would
some
be
be- some
epic.
benchmarks. We'll put the
yeah,
benchmarks
give
up.
me a benchmark on
Um,
that.
Mhm.
I just want to go back to Barry's point about the text here. Like the text should always be ruthlessly edited, particularly in the first
Mm.
3 seconds. And there's a lot of frames here like this, like holy shit, there's just way too much stuff going on here.
Novel.
And
Yeah.
even breaking up the sentence bubbles mid-sentence, it's just creating some like cognitive load that it doesn't make any sense. And it's just my brain quickly sees it and it's like too much to even read.
Don't move. Unforgivable lack of Oxford comma here. Let's just talk about that. That's why this ad failed. I missed it on my first way through. Clearly, any Oxford comma fans watching this ad
Sabotage.
Oh my
would
That's why this ad
be
failed.
disgusted and they would
100%.
close out of the app immediately. So that's probably what happened
Offended.
here.
I'm offended.
I think I have to agree with Jess's point though. Like the entire hook is relying on the text in this ad, right? Otherwise, it's just B-roll. So if it is word vomit, you're immediately checking out. Immediately,
Yeah.
it's a novel right at the top. Like I don't have time. It's not thumb stopping.
I changed my vote.
Me too.
Quotes are coming for you, Barry.
We can
The
edit
quotes are
this. We
coming
can
for
edit
you.
this YouTube, right?
Sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
why don't you do a cut where you're like, I vote for number 1, and then Jess can do some editing.
Thanks for watching another segment of Adtopsy. I really appreciate it. If you want more videos like this, click here. It's one of my favorites. Also, please do subscribe, hit that bell notification. We are a small but growing channel, so every sub truly means a lot. If you want to dive deeper into these particular topics, there's a link to the Deep Cuts newsletter in the description below. And if you want to know more about Fire Teams, kind of like the agency behind all this, the link is in below as well. I really appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.